Richard? What do you think you're doing? Hey, I told you not to use the camera when I'm at home. Get back here, you little brat! Sorry for that, I was having trouble with my toucan.
Oh.
Now that I'm back, we can start the video. This is Kitty, and I know we haven't seen each other for a long time. Let's just blame it on him. Something real embarrassing happened. Final Fantasy Crisis Core is definitely one of my favorites of the franchise. Recently I replayed the original and it was my very first JRPG on the PSP. And I'll never forget the tragic ending. I was 13 years old when I watched my favorite hero of all time die. And somehow I did manage to not realize that Square did a remake on that game. I didn't notice anything. I don't know if I've just been too busy with work and stuff, but I feel deeply ashamed that I didn't already purchase it in December. So I had to catch up on it, but on the other hand, I've beaten it within 3 days and I would like to share my opinion now with you. As I've totally been into Zack's story again these past days, I've already remade a tribute to his character. You can watch the video if you hit the link on the info card, and as I said, I also played the original game in order to make a proper comparison. And I think it has to be done because Final Fantasy VII, the first episode, was a whole remake. But Crisis Core Reunion is rather a graphic reboot than a remake, where they change like everything. Graphics, game mechanics, battle system, even cutscenes, and that wasn't the case, so Crisis Core Reunion has to submit to its comparison. I have some huge points of criticism, but in general, I really did enjoy the game. So I guess it's best to start off with the good aspects. There is no single scene which is not synced. We hear console talk, Dr. Hojo, even the people on the slums market, and it's a joy. There are way more cutscenes than in the original, which let the story seem more fluent, and we happen to get a better connection to the characters, including the ones that have only a short appearance, such as Reno and Rude, for example, Console or Luxier. I felt more attached to Tifa too. I can't even tell whether she was synced in the first game, but I believe not. So this surely is a profit of the remake. What really bugs me on the other hand is the new voice acting. I already ran my mouth about it in my Zack tribute video. I cannot understand why they didn't hire at least one voice actor of the old cast. In the 7 remake, they went without George Newbern, the one and only Sephiroth, and now they also dispensed with Rick Gomez and replaced him with, in my view, terrible Cala Pierce.
I have to go to Midgard.
To be honest, I don't like anyone of the new cast. I miss Aerith, Genesis, Cloud, even Song and Cisne. They're just so different through the new voice acting. My childhood memories depend on that. The new voice actors tried to match the tone of the originals too. If they do a complete voiceover, they have to bring in their own spirit, I think. They can't catch up on the originals anyway. It's too hard. Talking about difficulty, the old game wasn't too hard for a Final Fantasy game. Even so, I was very glad that they declined the difficulty level a bit, not distinguishing between easy and hard mode. I mean the level in general, all the mini-games, the mission catalog, materia fusion, and so on. The inventory benefits from its little makeover. It's more clear, easier to navigate, and friendlier to the player. For instance, the option to put on 4 versions of equipment with different advantages. Concerning materia fusion, you get a better explanation, I think. I found a lot of emails that even offer useful combinations of possible fusions to you, and I put them to use quite often. The mission catalog has not really changed, and still, I feel like it's easier, even after you crossed a particular percentage of accomplished missions, trying to add costly punch to your materia, and finally defeating Minerva. I don't know, it was easier than the last time. It's just a feeling, I can't really tell, but it reminds me of Zodiac Age, which was also a little bit easier than FF12 concerning details like gathering materials for your special weapons or the mob hunts. And just like that, I kept feeling that Square lowered the standards of Crisis Core Reunion as well, which I appreciated because to me, Final Fantasy is always a game that is very hard. It's almost impossible to gain all the trophies, and you have to spend like an enormous amount of time. Often I think it's not really worth it, and I don't see a problem in an easy concept, so I didn't mind anyhow. The areas you can explore have not increased. I mean, the continuous voiceover, the cutscenes in the new minigames seem to imply an open world, but in fact it isn't, and you obviously notice where this game has its origin from. So as far as that goes, I'd wished for a few more areas. You know, like another floor in the Shinra building, secret passages in the slums or in Nibelheim, but none of this came, so you still feel like it was a PSP game. Of course, it's nicer to explore all these levels with the better graphics. You can not only tell by the looks of the characters or the NPCs, but also by the surroundings, and you don't have to take a closer look to see that the church in the slums is so much more detailed, or the environment of Gongaga and Wutai. Even in the missions, you recognize the difference. But properly speaking, the graphics are not flawless. They're a little washy, and the facial expressions are, let's say, stiff. Coming to the battle system, I can't choose which was better. I got along pretty well with both, but one thing that officially changed was the DMW. Disapprove of me, but the one thing that annoys me the most is that they took out these little interceptions, the modulation phase whenever numbers or character portraits of the DMW matched. Lots of you might have found it irritating, but I absolutely love these intermissions. They dragged me deeper into the mechanics and also the story. I mean, the DMW gets quite dramatic in the end, where Zack fights for his life, is almost dead, and it still functions and randomly triggers emotions and memories. What I liked though was that you were able to determine the service of your limit breaks and summons. They're no longer automatic. The possibilities of fulfilling your DMW are still the same. You have exactly the same amount of figures and summons. It would have been nice if they added something new. I'm thinking of Carbuncle or maybe Yuffie. I mean, come on, she's got her own voice now. She finally got to life.
Wutai's greatest warrior. It's over for you because now you have to face me.
The battles are still smooth and fast. The camera is free and you have 2 quick menus now. You don't have to panicky click through the shoulder keys to cast a specific spell on the enemy. During boss fights, you have the opportunity to reduce the damage of a special attack on you. When you hit the enemy hard enough, you can even prevent it completely from damaging you. Moreover, the battle stance comes in handy as you are able to empower the Buster Sword. You can level it up to 100% and in return you gain special features. If you die in combat, you don't have to start the whole mission again. You can easily retry the battle itself, and the game additionally saves automatically. If something multiplied, then it's the mini-games. The most iconic ones are still there and have not been surpassed, such as the Squad's Duel, Finding the Wutai Spies, the Seven Wonders of Nibelheim. But they added some in the Slums Market, where you can achieve some bonuses for your DMW or the inventory. We have the perfume blending, the materia pickup, the number guessing. Still, this is not really inventive. I'd have expected more diversion here, or at least if they added new mini-games, they could have made them more thrilling. Number guessing is not quite what I would expect from a visit on the Slums Market. The conclusion. Considering that it took 15 years to just remaster the original, without adding new areas, story plots, or some other cool stuff, you might end up being disappointed. But after all, that wasn't the case, at least with me. Even if you could have expected some more surprises in this game, the original story is still that good. You have to try really hard to mess up with it. Therefore, I truly enjoyed playing it. I still enjoy it. I have a lot to do yet. Playing it on hard mode, fulfilling the mission catalog twice. You know what I'm talking about. So, Richard, let's give it a go, shall we?